I bid you welcome. I bid you good day. As always, greeting the day and the subject equally. As always, looking toward that which is within and that which is without, equally. From within one sees a greater distance. From without, one sees what is nearer, but perhaps what seems more important or more urgent. That is the case with the outer world, you see. It has a certain urgency about it. It says, I will only live this long. I had better live well. It says there is only so much time in a day or a week. I had better make it productive. I had better be successful, and I had better have my good health to accompany me. And yet, over time, humanity has forgotten what good health truly means. And so it has come to believe that feeling good, I feel good, it will say, that is the equivalent of good health. And yet, what does it mean to feel good? Does it mean one's spirits are high? Does it truly mean that one's organs of the body are working at optimum levels? Perhaps not. For humanity is often surprised to discover everything from a cancer to a common cold. It has a body that it does not truly understand. Its organs of the body it has great respect for, even fear for, but it does not truly understand how its body operates. Is it a mechanical thing? Is it a biological thing? How does the brain truly connect to the body? Well, all of these questions are worthwhile exploring, tackling, and yet it is not entirely the subject for our discussion today. For today we will speak of those things that act upon the body and the mind, attempting to bring it together, giving to the body something that it understands or knows how to work with, even if you do not. For instance, when you consume food, you are concerned with its taste. You are concerned with filling yourself. You are concerned with perhaps regaining energy or satisfying hunger or what it will be. And yes, you will explore the nutritional benefits as well. But once it is consumed, you assume that the body will take command and there sort out the nutritional benefits and what is to go where, what is to be kept and what is to be eliminated, and like that. Well, we will take that a step further then, exploring the medicines that the body also knows about. So the subject for today then we will entitle Pharmacopea. Such a beautiful word, not very well modernized or used today. Today the word medicines are known, the word drugs is very common. So pharmacopoeia then we will simply call, in a modern sense, the art and science of medicine and drug making or taking. What is the difference between a medicine and a drug? Is there one? Well, for the sake of a common discussion by agreement, simply for that, we will say that a medicine is that which the body instantly recognizes as having a base in the plant kingdom or of an herbal or a natural product, byproduct even, that which will come either from the earth or has been cultivated in some way, conditioned in some way to be effective for the body. Now a drug, yes, it is similar to that, but we will add one aspect to that. To this we will add that a drug also may and likely has a chemical component, a chemical aspect to this, perhaps an artificial one that has been added or combined or determined effective. So a drug and a medicine may be perceived equally by the body or by humanity, But at some level, if we were to break it down, component by component, we would find that there are subtle differences, and yet acknowledge then that for the sake of many discussions, medicines and drugs are in fact together and one. A good question to begin with is how in fact did humanity ever know, going back as far as history will allow, how did humanity know what is medicinal in nature? How did it know what to produce, what to cultivate? How did it know to distinguish between that which was a food source or a medicinal source? How did it discover certain dosages? For as you well know, there are certain very beneficial herbs that at some point could quickly become poisonous or malnurture the body in its own way. How did humanity discover it? Is it simply trial and error? Is it so simple as to say that trial and error determines this? Well, not entirely, no, though for some that was the case. Certainly by trial and error one could determine or establish some. And yet I will tell you that we here must employ the law of the one and the many, or perhaps simply put the law of one. The law of one will simply say that there is only one, that there is one beingness, that there is one truth, that there is one law, that there is one great being, that there is one potential, that there is one understanding. You see? With this understanding, then all things, all thoughts, all awareness, all truths and discoveries are one, meaning that all things, regardless of their nature or how they express themselves, are in communion with everything else. Therefore, although they appear to be separate, although a palm tree may appear to be quite different than an artichoke plant, well, they are one and the same. That regardless of where they are growing, whether it is in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, still they are one. Meaning, again, that they will speak with one voice. And so this oneness, this one field, this one nature, this one language communicates, is in communion with what you are, what you were. For there is, in fact, then, no separation. You see, oneness, the law of one, cancels or supersedes the law of the many. And so the law of separation, well, separation does not truly exist other than under the law of the many, which is under the law of the one. With this premise, then, those things, those herbs, those plants, those foods, spoke, if you like, yes, not in a verbal sense, communicated, better put, communed with those whom it could serve, reminding you that the law of one is also the law of serving or the law of service, meaning that it or all things serve the one and the oneness. Therefore the one is and the oneness serves the one, and they are not separate. They are but facets of the same. They are but offering of the same degree, if you like. So the communion, then, of the plant kingdom is and has always been one with humanity. Therefore, instinctually, intuitively, and in a communicative intelligence sense, humanity knew what to use, where it was, how to cultivate it, how to begin it, what part, whether it was root or leaf or bark, for instance. So there is a knowingness. This is difficult for some that believe that all things must be learned or must be studied, or must be discovered and there taken apart. It is difficult, and yet this encompasses what we simply term natural knowing. That there is a part of you, all of you, that in a sense has never, ever, ever been separate from, separated from, or in any way distinctly different than the one which it also is. For most, this concept is an agreeable one. Yes, it makes sense, Guy, of course it makes sense. But I do not have a daily experience of that. Daily, I see an individual in the mirror. Daily, I take myself to work and thereby practice many of the different roles and procedures in my life. So be it, acknowledged. And yet there is within you a part of you that is both ancient and future. A part that is who and what you are now, but it is also timeless and infinite. Well, it is the same with the other kingdoms, you see. It is the same with the animal kingdom. It is what allowed, then, if you like, the birds to have been dinosaurs. And why not? The dinosaur is still within the bird, just as your ancient heritage is still carried within you, as is your future, which allows you to strive for that, to make more of yourself, to desire, to create, to evolve. So again, it is the law of one that has taught humanity what and how to offer to itself what it most needs. Now, does the mind need the same formula as the body? Yes. Interestingly, yes. You would say, well, the mind does not need food, the body does. Yes, but it is well known that a highly nutritive body allows one also to have better thoughts, to recreate itself better, to engage life in more creative ways. So yes, mind and body and spirit fall under the law of one. What serves one serves the other. We will come to touch upon this again in our later discussion, for already you are thinking all of the ways that that may not apply as a matter of fact, all of the ways in which the mind or the body can use a thought or a thing in a negative way that does not truly serve the body. It does not truly serve the body, Gaia, to have drug or narcotic effect or an addictive effect from a medicinal or a chemical derivative of that. So be it. I will take your argument under advisement and refute it at a later time. As we continue then, we will say that humanity, not all, but those that we would say are adept, those that have allowed their minds, their fields to remain open and aware, knew and know today. Those that carry a certain heritage that is accommodating to the plant kingdom, the herbs and the earth itself, attuned to the bodies, their past, present, and future, there is a communion with this kingdom that will say what is food, what is medicine, what is needed, what quantities, and when, and for how long. There is a communion to this, and yes, in your modern technological age and time, there is also trials and clinical studies and laboratory testing, and those things that appear to have discovered by pure accident in search of something else. Well, can it not be that while one is in search of something else, one discovers a greater purpose for that thing or that thought? And was it simply truly an accident that one stumbled upon it and discovered that it had another use? Perhaps you have heard me say that all things upon the earth, yes, all things have at least 7 different purposes, or uses, better put. 7 different uses. One of them may be to bring health. Another may be to terminate life, if it were used in an over perspective, you see, or an over prescription, if you like. That is also a purpose or a use. To extend life is one, to terminate life is another. To give nutrition, to uphold, to strengthen one organ. Perhaps it has one use where humanity is concerned and another for the other kingdoms. Perhaps the root is of nutritive value to humanity, but that very same root also holds a hillside together and from falling into the sea. That is also a use. Perhaps there are those things that serve and support other natives nearby. You see? So all things, humanity included, have at least 7 different uses, perspectives, abilities, or purposes. To assume that there is only one, it is only good for this, or only good for that time, it is not so. And so humanity even now is discovering that there are in fact cells within the body that are very useful for a variety of ways and times, and can in fact be cultured or nurtured for other uses, repurposed, retooled, if you like. Now, another excellent question is, why cannot the body simply heal itself? Why does the body become ill? Why does the body need certain plants or herbs or medicines or drugs to bring improvement to it? An excellent question, would you not agree? Well, truth be told, the body can in fact heal itself, resuscitate itself, invigorate itself. The body can in fact live a much, much longer time than its current use employs. What changes that, in essence, is a variety of perspectives, one being how much or how many of humanity is upon the earth. The more of humanity that is upon the earth, in essence, determines how long is the lifespan. Now you may take argument with that. You may say, look, Gaia, long and longer ago there were less people upon the earth, and the lifetimes were not very long as measured by years. Yes, there would be agreement in this. And yet a lifetime is not truly measured in years. It is measured in what is discovered or accomplished or learned in years. And through the ages, the lighter ages or the darker ages, in essence it takes longer for humanity to learn the same, or there are more times that it prefers to repeat a certain truth or study or lesson, you may call it, before it says, and now I know. So it is not age, it is not chronological age that we are speaking of here. It is the purpose of the body itself. If we were to speak of a diamond tip, for instance, that is to drill deep and through the ground, its longevity would not be determined by how long it could be used, but by how far it could drill and how fast, for instance. Then if it would need to be replaced because it had already accomplished its goal much more quickly, then so be it. So it is the same with humanity. The more quickly or timelessly or effortlessly it accomplishes that which it had set out to discover, the more use it has, or the more quickly it can appear or disappear or accelerate its beings or its cells. So the more of humanity that is upon the earth, the more sluggish, in essence, it becomes. the more food it takes to feed itself, the more difficult that food is to either cultivate or transport or make available, and the more susceptible that same food supply becomes as well to those things that would cause detriment to it as well, because as with all things it becomes overtaxed. So the answer then is yes, the body can heal itself, rejuvenate itself, repurify itself, and reinvent many of its purposes so that the organs can in fact serve and do more than what currently is imagined that they can do. But it must receive support for this, and that support must come from mind, body, spirit, and to that we must add belief. Body, belief. What you believe about the body makes the body whole, or solid, or healthful, or light. If you believe it takes great effort to reduce the size of the body, then it does. If you believe the body's longevity is only good for 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, or 100 years, it does. If you believe you are highly subject to the laws of heredity of the body that you have inherited, it is. If you believe that people that eat a diet more rich in the vegetarian than the meatitarian, then that is true for you. So beliefs affect body, mind, and to a certain degree spirit, though spirit being made of a non-physical substance is more able to transcend thoughts that are dense. You see, beliefs tend to be dense thoughts. Spirit, not being dense, is not as subject to these laws, if you like. The body being the more dense of all of these, well, the body believes. And so it becomes entangled in these beliefs. And, well, your thoughts, well, as you well know, there are lighter thoughts and more dense thoughts. And so body and being are subject to both of these. Better, as always it is, whether this discussion be Pharmacopea or anything, better it is to remain light in the ideas, in the thoughts, and where the beliefs are concerned. So yes, the body can heal itself, can and does where some are concerned. And those who work as, if you like, psychic surgeons, those who are truly qualified in this area, it is not so much what they do, so much what they believe or what they are not subject to in terms of beliefs. They do not allow themselves then to be ruled by any thought or idea other than the body's own intelligence to be and to know what it most needs. Under hypnosis, bodies can heal themselves more quickly. Why? Because the ability to hypnotize one, for the most part, bypasses the denser beliefs. Not all of them, simply the most dense ones. And so bodies can rejuvenate themselves without medicines, without drugs. Will this be the case again in the future? For some. It is true for some today. And those that walk this path do so quietly, for they know that they are not in the majority. They believe they have a certain special quality, a certain special gift. Again, it is not seen as the norm, though it is. Returning then to the subject of the medicines and drugs themselves, why are some poisonous? Why would it be that there would be poison upon the earth? Why would it be that a snake has venom that can kill a human? Why would a scorpion's sting also likely exterminate a life? And why are certain plant medicines, in fact, poisonous to the degree that they could, in fact, claim a life? Well, in some cases, the poisons themselves, I will tell you, are highly beneficial. and serve a higher, more organized purpose than has yet been discovered. Those that are poisonous to some are not poisonous to others, and again depending upon the age itself. There are certain herbs and plants that have been highly advantageous to humanity in one age and poisonous in another. It is a matter of understanding the plant structure itself. In some cases it is the root that is of benefit and the leaf that is poison, you see? So it is a matter of understanding, just as you have certain thoughts that are positive and others that you consider to be negative, though it is not truly so. It is the same with plants. It is how they are organized to have polarity. Therefore, some plants not only have leaf and bark and root as representation of body, mind, and spirit, but they are also exemplified in polarity by offering themselves as either food or drug, or having positive or negative effects upon humanity. All things in the third dimension are subject to polarity, subject to light and dark, growing and receding, or completing their own natural cycles. So those things that are poisonous are not truly poisonous, or better put, they could be so considered in a temporary way, just as some things are only active during a certain season or a certain day, and they are inert at other times. It is well to think of yourself this way. You see, understanding the laws of polarity, how they are truly organized, you would not see your thoughts as positive, negative. You would truly see them as simply organized in a certain perspective, just as you would organize a filing cabinet to suit your needs and then reorganize it at another time. It is the same with the plant kingdom. It is constantly, consistently, and ever reorganizing itself. The laws of nature also evolve and reorganize themselves. All things do. Deserts become oceans. Oceans become deserts, and they can both be an oasis to one species and, well, offer very detrimental effects to others. A river can very well serve those who will take from its resources to drink, those who will use its hydroelectric power, or those who can be overrun by its banks, or those that would then find themselves in a drought, as the river of its own mind changes direction or offers itself to others in different ways. These things are also true of the plant kingdom, of medicines, and of drugs. You have seen the body interact with some and say, and here is an antibiotic that will serve the body and cure this or that. But the body, as you well know, as the body and the human are known to be, very adaptive. So the curiosity of the body welcoming the new medicine and saying, oh yes, it is very effective in this and that, and then the body adapts to it and says, no more. It has acclimated itself to it. All things upon the earth are known to evolve, adapt, acclimate, and yes, at times as well, overrun. You see, when a body adapts to a drug, for instance, in essence it is saying, oh, now I have learned from that. Now I am able to do that for myself. I am able to replicate that effect. But the belief that goes along with that tells you, if I stop taking that medicine or that drug, my body will no longer be able to do this or that, or have this effect, or manufacture for itself, or what it will be. And so the belief comes to be more in the drug than in the ability of the body to adapt, to learn from a new circumstance, and to evolve its own way. And so this is a subject that humanity could well study a little bit better. How to adapt and evolve not only the Pharmacopea, that interacts with its body, but how to evolve and adapt the body's own response system, so that medicines become only a training ground for a short amount of time, therefore allowing the body's own wisdom, humanity's own evolution, then to take over that perspective and to offer itself in greater ways. So the body then understands that some things are poisons. It knows how to reject some, but not all. Why? This great communion that we described earlier, the law of one, well, it is a quiet law now. Humanity has forgotten it, or, as with many other subjects that we have discussed, believes that there are some that are special, some that would know. Oh, she is a medicine woman, she knows, surely she will tell me. He is a doctor, the doctor knows, the nurse knows, the practitioner knows, the healer knows. I do not. See the error in this. It is in the thinking, in the believing that you do not know your life, your purpose, your body, your organs in your body. Why? Well, they are foreign to you. You cannot see them. They are inside of you. So you have taught yourself to know or to learn about those things that are outside of you, under your control, if you like, but not to see or understand those things that in some ways remain invisible to you. And the body in some ways is foreign to you. It is made of foreign matter. You do not truly understand the blood or the bloodstream as the great river of life. You do not understand the entire process. It seems foreign to you as a foreign language. You have a body. You live in your body. It is, yes, yours, but you recognize it from the outer perspective, not by understanding that every cell and molecule and thought is the same, that you are the owner of these, not simply their manager. So it is this lack of communication between what you think that you are and what you think that your body is. Yes, it is your vehicle. Yes, it is temporary. But those things that make it available to you, those things that make the body stand, the very thoughts that allow the body to walk erect from one room to the other when you command it to, well, the very cells in your body would and could do the same for you. The very atoms, molecules, particles that in your body, they are made of the same thought process that you are. The law of one ensures this. I will say to you then, do not depend upon those healers or doctors that would speak to you in certain ways, that would speak down or through you. Do not take for granted that they know more than you do, for there is no promise that this is true. There is no specific promise that a certified doctor truly knows your body more than you. Why is it that they always ask you what's the matter? Why don't they know what's the matter? You see? And then based upon what you tell them and what they have studied, they begin to know this or that, which in many ways, perhaps you would agree, you already knew. In your time, you are not allowed, for the most part, to treat your own body as if it is yours. It must be placed into the care of another, who will administer certain medicines or prescriptives that must be approved, dispensed to you, administered to you. Bear in mind, then, that the very systems that you operate under do not truly condone your own natural knowing, do not further this. There are only those individuals under certain fields of study, licensed professionals that are trained to know the body. Well then, it is no wonder that you do not completely understand the medicinal effects or the differences between medicines or drugs, or what is poison from what is of benefit. And while we are near and approximate to the subject, it is also well to ask then, what is an allergy? And why is the body allergic to this or that? Why are some bodies appear to be allergic, whether it is to a product of the dairy, a product of the wheat, or several other allergies to the body? Well, again, you must know that each body has its own season, in essence. Bodies are more seasoned than others, the very heredity of certain bodies and the particles that have made them up, from their very origin to how they continue to make and remake themselves in the wound. There are certain aspects of the body that, out of wisdom that did not exist at the time, were not cultivated out of the body. You see, in order to further life or nurture life, humanity did not, in essence, cull its herd. Now, we are not here speaking of doing away with certain hereditary lines of humanity. Here we are speaking of the particleized energy that makes a body into a body, that forms the very formulas of the bodies. So it has been a very long time that humanity has lost the recipe for maintaining the optimal form of the body. Through the course then of the ages, some things evolve and some things devolve, for that is the law of polarity in the third dimension. Therefore know that in the higher or greater or lighter dimensions, the bodies are perfect or more perfect, and you have more command over these bodies, how to make them more fine, lighter, more energetic. The lower or more dense the dimension, which is not a derogatory term, simply a descriptive one, but the denser the dimension then, the slower the discoveries, the slower of the ability of the bodies to be able to heal themselves or to improve themselves naturally. Thereby they, over time, succumb, not to nature. So it is not a true allergy. It is not that this body or the other being is allergic to this or to that. It is, in fact, that the particles, the atoms, the molecules, the beliefs within the body are now organized in such a way that they cannot simply reorganize themselves. We must also ask the question then, what is an allergy? And why would the body create an allergy to an environment, to a medicine, or to a drug? Well, simply put, an allergy is that which the body has not yet found a resolution for. An allergy belongs to the heredity of the body. It is the body that has an allergy, and the person, you, in this moment, in this case, then, you respond to the body's allergy, to its uncertainty, or to its response or reaction. Truth be told, an allergy is a request for more information that the body sends. But because there is not a true and deep connection for the most part between the individual and his body, then the body does not receive the information that it is hoping for. And to be on the safe side, as it would be, the body responds by rejecting that which it does not know or does not understand. Now you must know that the bodies that you have now, well, they have a lineage as well. They have been around for a very, very long time. In the same way that you may recall that you have had many lifetimes here or there, well, the bodies have also remade and reinvented themselves many times. Therefore, pathogens of an older time or even sources of food or water that have been carried for a very long time, the bodies have not always found a way or been assisted in resourcing themselves. So some of the allergies that are known today, whether it be to dairy or to wheat or what it may be, well, these are very, very old and olden. The bodies that for the most part have a difficulty in this way is, if you like, a newer soul with an older body. So it is not a perfect match. When there is not a perfect match in this way, the body often will say, in its own way, that it has a reaction. Now, a strong belief in what one is allergic to does not often bring about the response that the body had hoped for. Instead, the being now says, I can't have that anymore. I'm allergic to it. It did not find a response. It did not find a way around. It simply decides that is now forbidden. That is now off the list. And so the body simply continues with that belief as well. Does this mean that anyone can simply disavow, non-believe that they have an allergy and that the body would then respond in a more positive way? Well, to some degree, yes. But first you must truly understand how the structure of belief affects both the mind and then the body, so that one can undo, unbuckle, untie knots that have been made, and thereby clear the lineage of the body and clear the belief system, so that communication can travel much more freely in all different areas, and then the body would acclimate itself and, yes, release the allergy for the most part. Certainly there are exceptions to this, and it is a generalized rule that we are speaking of. But in essence, the earth is not allergic to the earth, you see? The earth is not allergic to those things that are earthly. And the body being composed of those things that are earthly, well, it is not allergic to itself. You are not allergic to you. And so the body is not allergic to you. So perhaps you can see that there are some incongruences here that certainly leave room for resolving. In terms of what the body as well may be addicted to, well, that is another matter altogether then. An addiction is that which the body believes in its own way, with the assistance of the mind as well, that it in all ways is doing something benevolent for itself, healthful for itself. The body truly believes that in some way it is assisting. The difficulty is that the body then becomes the master and not the mind. First comes the body in this case, second comes the mind, lastly comes the spirit. And so there is a reorganization of who wears the crown, as it would be, who speaks for all. And in essence, the addiction speaks first, speaks for itself first, all for me, as it would be, and then calls to itself first all of the attention, all of the resources that it may want or need, leaving all else behind as secondary. Then it takes the spoils for itself first. So an addiction, then, is that which the body finds it receives of benefit, and, well, in this case, more is better. If this feels a little good, that will feel a lot better. And so the body, not necessarily knowing, as a young child might not know, that too much of a good thing is still too much, well, it becomes then addicted. Now it is important to know that the body does not think of itself as addicted. The body believes in all ways, in all capacities, that it is drawing to itself that which is important, that which is necessary, that which is for the well-being. And that is why perhaps you will see that those that are in fact addicted to this or that are often in what you would term denial. They are in denial because the body believes that it is bringing wholeness to itself. that it is restoring itself. But of course, it is not then consulting with the parts of the mind that know, or with the spirit that sees beyond that moment. So an addiction is simply that, where the body becomes in charge and not the mind, and in fact spirit is often shut out of the process in this, leading then to an overabundance, an over-receiving of something that is not as completely beneficial to all. Bodies can become addicted to almost anything, even very, very good some things. Bodies can become addicted to physical fitness. They can become addicted to looking at the sun, to stargazing. They can become addicted, yes, even to the physical act of meditating, falling into, if you like, a stupor or a dreamlike state, saying it is a spiritual activity. But oh, is life not lived, so much less? How are addictions overcome? Well, it would be well to know this and to study this, for just as there are certain plant and herb manner that bring to one addictions, there are those that can fairly easily cancel these as well. But these properties must be discovered, and first it must be believed that humanity, that you can release some of the addictions by the use of another plant or herbal manner, a concoction if you like. And these can in fact ease this. Will the body accept it? Yes, for the most part, if you can convince the body that it is to its benefit as well. Here is something else that is more of benefit than what you are doing. So it is not the same as saying to the body, look here, you must stop this immediately. Can't you see that you are wasting away? Or can't you see that you are overindulging in that which will surely shorten the structure, the architecture of your body? Instead, it is to replace that which the body also sees as beneficial, and then, well, allow one plant, if you like, not to duke it out, not to fight it out, but to bring peace to the other, to cancel the effects of the other. This is quite possible, this type of therapy, if you like, but it is less studied at this point. It is more interesting to study the addiction, and it is more prosperous, I will tell you, to allow these addictions to continue, regardless of whether it is of alcohol or tobacco or of food or what it will be. And perhaps we will make, then, a special request to study this particular subject, just as we are studying this one. Well put, then, it is as well to ask, and what are the psychoactive drugs? When is something sacred? When is something sacred rather than simple? If one does indulge and create a very beautiful aspect of a sacred tobacco, or a sacred herb, whether it is ingested, whether it is taken as smoke, whether it is received as root, whether it is taken in the liquid form. There are many different psychoactive drugs, psychedelic drugs, if you like. Whether it is in their natural state or their chemical composition, they alter the mind. And what of it then? What of it if the mind is altered in what it sees and what it knows or what it believes to be real? Many of those things that you believe to be real are not real. Many of those things regarding this life that you believe are most important about this life to learn or to know, they are not so, not yet. And what if, then, one does indulge in a psychoactive experience? It alters the reality. It alters what one knows about oneself or one's placement in the universe. The past, the present, and the future have new reference points. And yet so be it. It is no different than taking a compass, if you like, or a spyglass, and looking in another direction, and seeing something completely different. Well, has the universe changed so very much, or are you simply looking in a new or different direction than what you have looked before? Are you looking inward instead of outward? So be it. These particular, then, medicines or drugs allow one to see beyond the moment, allow one to redefine the moment itself, its meaning, how it is composed. In your time you have technology that allows you to rearrange a photograph, to change its background or foreground, to substitute everything from the color of eyes to dress or anything that you might imagine. And what is the difference then? And what if the mind does this for you? What if the mind substitutes a reality for another one, the background of one world for the background of another, one purpose for something perhaps greater? What if, in fact, you are able to see yourself a little bit different, of a different composition? What if, indeed, rather than seeing from the inside out, you could see from the outside in? And how sacred must this be before it is allowed? Why be it, then, illegal? Why be it that it should be monitored or governed by others? Or why would it be that it must be conducted by a sacred rite of passage, by one who knows or sees or understands differently? Well, history, for the most part, history made it that there were those who saw or knew beyond one reality. In other words, there were those that studied a variety of different realities, understood them. In their own way they could explain them. And they could guide others to and from, in the same way that you would be guided to and from heaven, or to and from a ship, if you like, or escorted from home to work, or what example you might choose. There were those who were able to be guides, simple guides, in this world, and the next world, and the beyond world, and the neighbor's world, and what else it would be. And so these were entrusted then. You were entrusted not to lose your mind. You were entrusted to check it at the door, if you like, and to regain it again as you were leaving. These individuals then became priest-like, whole or holy, if you like, because they were able to hold energy. Well, if they were able to hold energy, they were able to move energy. If they could move energy, some were able to manipulate the energy as well. And under this then came, if you like, polarity again, the good and the bad, the light and the dark. And so ceremonies and rites of passage were created to allow one far-reaching vision, to see beyond the moment, into the stars, or into the past histories, or into the futures, if you like. And there were those guides of shamanic proportion, of priest-like conditions, or what it would be, that were able to guide this. Is one way better than another? If you were to move into a visionary experience with a psychoactive, psychotropic drug, must it be with this eye towards ceremony? Is it more important, is the vision more important, if it were be considered sacred or ceremonial, if you were to project yourself in this way? Well, we'll say that it will depend upon the individual. For to Gaia all things are sacred, and every day is but a rite of passage. Every day allows you through one corridor and into the next. Every day involves visions and purpose that can be changed or retooled or remade. In any day you may choose this reality or another reality that you may find more interesting or more attractive. Must you have a ceremony in order to be invited into that place? No. Not by Gaia's take, not by Gaia's understanding. However, in the discovery of something new, in the discovery of something grander and greater, it is well to note it. It is well to approach it in a grounded capacity, if you like, with a firm foundation beneath you. in an organized way, only for the benefit of the mind, so that the mind can then receive its pleasure rights, so that the mind can then say it achieved, it organized, it reorganized, it remade itself, it discovered. And so in this way, then, these particular drugs, and where they have come from? Well, from the same place as all of the others. A poison by one name, a privilege by another, a rite of passage still, all governed by proportion. The key here is always, then, proportion from here to there, and sometimes back again. Sometimes back again. Now, as we continue with the subject of the medicines, then, and why must it be, just as it is with the ceremonies, why must it be that some would be administered by others? Why must it be that they must be prescribed, that they must be dispensed? Why can't anyone and everyone, as a matter of fact, administer for themselves? Why cannot they know or be told? Like a library, they will take what they need and no more. Why is it not that one's own wisdom would say what is to be administered or in what way? Why must it be a professional or a governmental body or a directorship or what it would be that will say what you can have and what you cannot have, and who can own it, and if indeed it is to be patented or like so? Well, indeed, sweet ones, it is well that you have given your permission to many others. You have granted the rights of privilege to many others. Of course, some of these have been usurped, but for the most part it is humanity itself that has said, I am not qualified. I do not know. I cannot remember what this is for. I cannot remember what the proper dose is. I cannot remember how to combine it, what makes it more active, and what season it comes to be. I cannot remember, then, if it is of natural perspective or artificial, if it is a chemical component, if it is a drug or a medicine, if my body likes it or not. And so humanity has empowered others by its own belief, empowered them, given them the authority to say, you tell me. Tell me what I can have and what I cannot. Tell me how to use it. Tell me for how long, and like that. For the most part, once you have empowered or given others authority, dominion over this, you have stopped to think, what is it made of? It is just another little pill, just another little capsule, a liquid, or what it would be. It is rare that someone even begins to truly consider what is the original plant-based. What is the root of this? And from that, what has it been combined with or turned into? What makes it what it is or do what it does? What makes it have side effects, whether they are small ones or grander ones? So it is humanity itself that has forgotten what it knows, forgotten when it knew, and it is so much simpler to say, I'm very busy, and these professionals know this, they have studied this, this is what they do and what they know. One day you will take this permission back. You will say, you no longer have authority nor dominion, for I now remember. I remember what it is and how to use it. But for the time being, you do not. So it is well to rail against the authorities, and at the same time will say to you, remember and remind yourself that you have turned this over. If you will take it back, then take it back. But study then. Come to know your body. Come to know what medicines it prefers. Come to know how to act on and with the body. So you will gain so much more from that. Another question that is well worth answering, then, is what of other races from other worlds? And do they, in fact, also use medicines? Do they, in fact, also have drugs with benefits? Or those that are anti-benefits, if you like? Well, the answer to this is yes, then. Yes and yes, but each one to their own. Each body is composed of what material it is made of. Like a great weaving, then, the fibers in each one understand what they are connected to, what they are woven with. And so the body itself, then, looks for what it can strengthen itself with, what fibers. And so even those races, even those other beings will, yes, know from their own material, from their own lighter material for the most part, how to repair or unwind or reweave. Now, each body from each race is unique unto itself, unto the world and the dimension that binds it. Minds are bound to bodies, and bodies are bound to the elements of the worlds by which they are created. So depending upon the health of that particular world, the lightness of the dimension or of the being, that will also determine then what it requires in terms of medicine, or to medicate, or simply to alter, or to engage. But the answer then being yes. Many other beings and bodies are able to self-medicate or to self-heal. This means that their bodies in their own way can be trained to excrete, if you like, just as a cell could excrete its own healing mechanism, releasing it into the bloodstream and then allowing it to travel all through the body in order to heal itself. This is a truly simple healing modality. The instruction is given to the mind. The mind then finds, locates, what is the organ that has that most particular, peculiar, or necessary elixir, causing then that organ to release that for the benefit of all, in service, you see, again, in service to the whole. And so the body then is able to self-heal. A rather simple procedure employed by other races, but given to you here for your consideration, so that you will have a glimpse of your future as well. And what is the future, then, of this particular subject, being Pharmacopea? Well, perhaps we'll say the discovery, then, of more, both natural and artificial, medicinals. And there will come that which is the future, that, if you like, somewhere between a medicine and a drug and something of a simple herbal nature. There you will see that there is a new form, not quite medicine, not quite vitamin, not quite drug. It will be bioreceptive, and you will find that there are other words that will describe this as well. Ways for the body indeed to engage itself. And so there will be that which is the halfway point for those that do not or cannot go to see the doctor or the medical establishments. At the same time, they will not know exclusively what to do for themselves. So there will be centers that will dispense, advice or guidance, if you like, of how to repair or restore the body. And, if you like, just as there are bio-identical of hormones, there will be bio-identical then, whether it is a form of vitamin or food or a medicament then, to bind together body, mind, and soul. In the meantime, the governments will, in fact, continue to regulate as many drugs and medicines as possible, for they wish to study you. They wish to know more and as much about you as possible. So they will regulate this and that. They will control to the best of their ability until, as we have said earlier, you will reclaim, you will take back. And so you will. A medicine and a drug, then, similar, as we have said earlier, different in their composition and their effects upon the body being slight. There are some bodies that will respond to medicament or those things that are natural, and there are others that will respond much better to those things that are artificially created, for after all, the dis-ease or discomfort was artificially created as well, so that the body now believes it is not well. Therefore, the remedy may as well be artificially created as well too. So you need not have fear to this. At the same time, teach the body. Teach the body. You are your body. You are what you eat or what you take or what you ingest or what you drink, and like that, as they say, because it becomes part of your structure, part of your cellular nature, part of what the body thinks of is itself. The body begins to think in terms of what it has ingested and share those things in common with what it has taken in. Yes, it is part of the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, all of the minerals and like that, but so much more as well. Speak to the body, teach the body. Tell the body what medicines you are about to take. Tell the body that you trust it to know what is best. Teach your body and say you will listen, you will reject poison, you will do your best to be non-believers of allergies, you refuse to become addicted to any or all, and you choose for yourself perfect health and wholeness and the discovery of a greater longevity, even as you study the moment. So be it, sweet. The earth is always at your disposal. The earth will always provide those things, whether they are thoughts or plants, herbs or medicines, or those that will take you on far and distant journeys, those that will activate the mind or those that will quiet it, those that bring peace and comfort, those that allow sleep, those that bring good fortune or clarity of mind. And so be it. It is the pharmacopoeia of the earth, and it is all of it yours. I bid you good day.